Life breaks on plow and parish, fields still wait, the ink still dries. Letters ride on urgent horses, liberty in hurried lines. Leave the furrow, drop the ledger, hear that distant rolling sound.
Well, good evening. Make sure I got everything set up here. Let me see. There's the chat. Alrighty. Oh, I gotta get off the. Gotta get on the live chat. There we go. Redneck, how you doing this evening, sir? What's LFG? I don't know what LFG is. Uh-oh. I'm not hip and happening. I don't know all the little thingamajiggies. Abbreviations. There you go. All right, let's see. Hold on. Let me get my phone to work. Uh-oh. Says my phone's screwed up. There we go. All right, now it's working. All righty. I think I got everything going. Oh, let's fucking go. Now I got you. All right. I'm with you. We're going. All right, let's see. So let's start off with some local news and local annoyance. So we had a fire by the house. I know I'm what's that called? Giving up where I live, but whatever. So there was a fire. It was about the closest, about 3 miles that way, and I get so annoyed by people that have no clue what they're talking about, you know? So I'm online, I'm looking at stuff or whatever, right? The fire ended up turning away from us and going the other direction. Hey, Bob, hello, sir, how are you? So the fire moved away from us or whatever, and I'm tooling around in social media land, and I'm on this other guy's chat, and this guy's in the chat saying how they don't have enough firefighters, they don't have enough equipment, they're letting it burn down, you know, blah, 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 all this, you know, it's a conspiracy, blah, 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 all this other crap, right? I'm like, dude, I'm right here. The helicopters with the water were literally going over my house, dropping water on me. But he's going to tell me, oh, yeah, they don't have this, they don't have that. At the time that this guy's saying there's only 200 firefighters and they didn't have any aircraft, right? No, there was over 500 of them, and there was like 8 aircraft. I'm like, dude, that's just not right. But of course, in the chat, there's other people going along with it. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Like, no, guys, it's not. And just stop. You know, they were blaming all the same people they blame every time something happens. It just gets beyond annoying to hear the BS from people. Yeah. All right, I think that's my little rant. Oh no, I gotta give props to the fire department. Dude, they were on it. You know, and it was windy and wind and fire in California. This is how it happens, right? But they jumped on it. They were all over it. And well, that was another thing. The guy didn't even realize that I'm in Ventura County. He was talking about LA and blaming Mayor Bass for it. It's like, dude, she's not even involved yet. It's still on this side of the county line, you know? But anyway, so knowing simple facts on a subject before opening your mouth is a good thing. Okay, so, all right. Let's see what's right next. My eyeball is not working today. Has said guy maybe offer to become a volunteer fireman, or no, just sits in judgment, eating Cheetos, yeah, and drinking Bud Light, yeah. So, I actually had somebody block me on X because they were spewing some BS, and you know, I asked them what were they doing, and they came at me with all the patented answers. I'm like, dude, whatever. And then they just ended up blocking me. It was absolutely hilarious because I just kept asking one question. What are you doing? Right? I guess that's like a theme, you know, do something. Don't just sit there and point fingers. All right, let's start with this one here today. Let's see. Make sure I got it going. All right, looks like it's working right. Hopefully. All right, let's, got to make it so you can hear them. Here we go. It's talking about your enemies.
For them. This is not the instruction to be weak, and it is not the instruction to let people walk all over you. Respect is what gives you the mental advantage to actually beat them. It is the discipline that makes the fight winnable. The best display of what respecting an enemy.
Okay, so he uses a couple of, like, you know, movie things or whatever, but he makes really good points here, yeah? So why am I playing this first? For all the guys that like to underestimate the opposition. All right.
Enemy actually looks like is the diner scene in Heat. Pacino, the obsessed cop, and De Niro, the master thief, sit across a booth at the Kate Mantilini.
I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best, trying to stop guys like me.
I don't know how to do anything else.
Neither do I.
I don't much want to either.
Neither do I.
Neither man becomes less dangerous in the scene, and neither changes his ways.
And if you've never seen the movie Heat, you have to go see the movie Heat or turn in your man card. Basically, that's it.
They simply realize that they are the same person on opposite sides of an equation, and they look at each other with full clarity. Each prepares for the man across the booth as he actually is, not the cartoon version that Contempt would have built.
Okay, so I thought that was important, that the Contempt and the cartoon version, that's what we see a lot of people talking about the opposition, be the leftists, right? They got this cartoon idea of them, and they just have contempt for them.
The rest of the film is two men at full power, and the mutual recognition is what turns the ending tragic instead of cheap. That is what the noble enemy looks like when it is filmed correctly. Christopher Nolan drew on Heat when he made The Dark Knight, and the same concept is explored.
Why do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
Okay, so this one's a little goofy, but if you take what he's saying about having the opposition and how he says, what would I do without you? Just think of that Southern Poverty Law Center, right? That we were talking about last week, the week before, whatever. If they didn't have the opposition, then they couldn't exist.
Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. You complete me.
It sounds like a line from a rom-com, yet it is one of the most serious philosophical statements in modern cinema. Each man exists because the other does. The hero is the shape the villain forces him into. The villain is the shape the hero gives him room to be. He would have no purpose if he killed Batman, and Batman would have no measure of himself without the Joker to face. The worthy opponent is not just useful to you.
Let me catch up here. What did Redneck say? Redneck said, I was a volunteer fireman, first home interior when I was younger. Good to go. Yankee Watchdog, how you doing, sir?
He is part of what makes you what you are. This is what Nietzsche meant when he wrote, in Thus Spake Zarathustra, that you must be proud of your foes. Pride in the enemy is not concession. It is the discipline that keeps the warrior sharp. The fighter who doesn't respect his opponent stops training. The general who despises his adversary stops scouting. The man who hates the people he is trying to convince stops listening. The worthier the foe, the worthier the man required to meet him. The noble enemy is not the enemy you wish you had. He is the enemy you are willing to see clearly, and that willingness is what makes the victory possible. What you do not understand, you cannot defeat. You should not only respect your enemy.
Yeah, that was the beginning part. All right, so I thought that other part was kind of important because if you think your opposition is simply a bunch of ass clowns that don't know which bathroom to use, well, what does that make you? Because you are what your enemy needs, or however he said that. I was a little deep there, but hopefully some folks got it. And Yankee just retired from his local firehouse. Good to go. Dude, some of the stuff the firemen do, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not trying to go like inside a burning building. No, I tend to come out of those when they're on fire. So, all right, so that'd be our all in-depth thinking thing right there, right? Yeah, if you don't understand them, you can't defeat them, right? And there's so many people that do that. They just got blue hair. All right, so this one here happened in Huntington Beach, right? It's not ghetto, okay? Like everybody's like, oh, this only happens in ghetto places. No, why are we bringing it up? Because again, you must have chaos, right? If we have chaos, then we can say we can stop the chaos. Give us the power. Yeah, I don't know who uses that, but so this is in Huntington Beach, and no, it's not the normal suspects and all that other good stuff, right? Why am I showing it? Because I want you guys to see it's not just the generic stereotypes, like we were just talking about.
Each man says he was attacked by a group of teens on e-bikes while on the boardwalk with his wife. The victim said,
Okay, look at the crowd. It's not the regular suspects.
As someone hit him in the head with a glass bottle and knocked him to the ground, where a mob of teens attacked.
Now he is demanding justice and wants those responsible to be held accountable. KTLA's Chris Wolf reports from Huntington Beach.
Besieged, beaten, and bruised. A Huntington Beach man says a mob of teenagers attacked him for no reason on Saturday evening, May 9th, around 8 p.m. Sam El Said tells KTLA he was with his wife riding their electric scooters along the boardwalk when they noticed a large group of teenagers, a couple hundred kids on e-bikes, Sam explains, stopped and crowding the pathway. As he made his way through the obstacle ahead of his wife to try to clear some space, he was blindsided.
Suddenly I see a bottle.
Okay, so again, the cultural norms of having some respect and not blocking up the sidewalk and not just attacking people because they said something to you. Notice how the cultural norms are gone, and it's not just where everybody assumes it is, right?
Coming towards me and flying towards me in the sky, in the air, and it just hits me in the face, and I feel it shattered. And immediately I'm off the bike. I'm off my e-scooter. I turn around and I'm trying to figure out like what's going on and who threw a bottle and hit me in the head. And next thing I know it, I'm getting bum rushed from behind on the side, knocking me down.
Sam says he was dazed as several boys repeatedly punched and kicked him while he was down in the sand. Cell phone footage shows the end of the violence as one teenager intervenes and Sam is finally able to get back on his feet. Some bystanders called 911.
Come here on Saturday night to this very spot and see what this looks like.
He just rumbles on about the cops not being every 10 feet on the walk there. But hopefully I'm making the point. Yeah, it's not the regular suspects, and y'all know what I mean by that. Hold on, let me see. Jen Rednick says, do not assume you know the rest. Yeah. And, oh, no, sorry, that was Yankee. And Rednick saying the blue hair is so they easier to target at night. Yeah, there you go. And no situational awareness. He rode straight into them in this day and age. Yeah, I mean, you could say some of that, but also, hold on, I got to approve that one. What happened there? This don't happen around here. We carry guns. Okay, so I was going to address that too. So even if he had a gun on him, apparently the bottle that smacked him in the head, he wouldn't be able to get to the gun before they were on him. Yeah, that's why I say people need to learn how to use these. And going back to, you got to have some situational awareness. Maybe not try to drive through 100 kids sticking your chest out. Yeah. So, but again, even if he had his pistol on him, bottle hit you upside the head, knock you down. There's those couple of seconds that, you're not out there doing Annie Oakley. You're going, what the hell just happened? And then they start putting boots to you. All right. I know. Everybody's like, I got a gun. And let's see. All right, where are we going? And okay, so I got a question for the truckers out there. That's where I get this one from. Grandpa's Free Advice. Saw this video. Saw this video last week, I think, when the guy was talking about the truckers that aren't legals not getting jobs. So I just wanted to ask a question on this one. Are people actually seeing this, or is this just this guy's video? Because I haven't seen anything else about it, so I was just wondering if any of the trucker dudes out there have actually seen any of that. I know there's a couple hiding out there, so hold on. Click over here. And you see a large group assess the situation. Yeah. But the dumb kids know he's unarmed too. Yeah, more than likely, right? But it goes back to, why would the kids attack a dude if our morals and standards as a society haven't been dismantled on purpose, Let's see. Redneck saying lots of semi-trucks for sale, all from foreigners. See, that's what I was asking, because I don't know. I'm not around that, so I don't know. So, and you used to own 2 of them trucks. Alrighty, well, I mean, if they're selling a bunch of them, and get you some more, huh? Yeah, I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask about that one because I saw that going around, but that's the only video I see of anybody saying anything like that. But people started pushing it out there, so I wanted to see if anybody knew for sure if that was legit. All right, and then I thought this story was very interesting. Hold on, let me go up here. This is where I got it from. Other people had it. This is just where I got it from. So let's see. It says Trump was 0.64 centimeters from death at Butler. 3 major attempts on his life, pretty much unbothered. Meanwhile, AOC, who called Trump weaker than he looks, is the one speaking behind bulletproof glass. Yeah. So that's kind of odd.
That Montgomery is not alone. That you all are not alone. And for all of those watching today, when they ask, what do we do in this moment? I feel helpless. What action can I take? It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama.
Okay, you hear what she's saying? From behind the bulletproof glass, right?
It is time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice. They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened.
Okay, so I kept it playing because besides hiding behind the bulletproof glass, I mean, what is she preaching? Sorry. She's preaching separation, power struggle, all that good stuff, yeah? I mean, maybe that's why she's sitting behind the glass. Redneck says, can't stand to sit that long anymore. Oh, that makes sense. 28 days home, 2 days. Yeah, that's not cool. So, Bob, creepy chick. Uh-huh. Yeah, she's preaching violence. She's preaching the North to go down and put their boot on the South. But then they don't preach violence. They don't say anybody should do anything. And yet she's standing behind bulletproof glass while saying it. And then, like the person that made the post said, they all called Trump a coward, right? You know, because shot went off at the, what was it, that dinner thing they were doing? And he took off. Oh, what a coward. Yet, here she is behind obvious bulletproof glass. Okie dokie. All right. So I thought that was some stories that kind of got, like, you know, overlooked, and then I want clarification on that one. Let's see. We're going to go over here now. So, okay. Here's where I got this one from. So when I go into the different states and I'm saying stuff about the states, it's not just to be like neener, neener, neener. It's to try to show that there's stuff going on. They're doing things everywhere, right? It's not just California. It's not that, going back to the original thing, it's not that comic book, oh, they're just in California, right? People are doing stupidness everywhere. So it says that, oh my gosh, it has been revealed that the man who's been drawing swastikas all over Fayetteville, North Carolina, notice I didn't say California, is actually a black male. Taquan Jameek Vern, I think. He was let out on $1,500 bond and then immediately began waving a gun at people on the street. He was yet again given a $2,500 bond. Curiously, although the local media reported on the story, they miraculously failed to mention at all the race of the man who was drawing these swastikas. So, in case you don't believe him, here he is. Oh, gosh darn it. I can't play the music. YouTube's been hitting me for everything. Hold on. There we go. There he is. But now they'll say this is a hate crime. And the Southern Poverty Law Center get some more money, right? To say that there's all kinds of racists everywhere doing racist stuff. The boogeyman. Everybody needs a boogeyman. We need a boogeyman. Yeah. Okay. If you guys have a clue, that dude doesn't even know how to draw them right. All right. Figured I'd share that one because it was North Carolina. All right. Hold on. Let me go back over here. Where are you guys at? There you are. Let's see. she's pulling the victim card. Oh yeah, you guys are making it too deadly for me. Preaching violence, yeah. Hey, C103, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. And hey, there's Palmetto. What'd you miss? You missed. I told everybody the meaning of life. Palmetto, have you ever seen the movie Heat? If you haven't, turn in your man card. That's how we started. And Palmetto's also saying same shit happened in Louisiana. Black churches had racist stuff spray painted on them. Turns out it was the church members for attention and GoFundMe money. Yup. White and what? Hold on, I'm confused, Redneck. While Minnesota has Little Mogadishu, Texas is becoming Mecca. Yeah, exactly. So I'm waiting for the Texans to show me how it's done, right? And I know people get mad when I say that stuff, but oh well, we're beyond being nice. Do something. Vote. Get on the soapbox. Tell the people in charge what you want done, right? I mean, they work for you, right? All right. Palmetto says he owns that movie. All right, you don't have to turn in your man card. So, Dead Heat. No, Redneck. You got to watch the movie Heat, or you too must turn in your man card. All right, so moving along here to one of the other little states. And hold on, I got to make sure that I don't accidentally do music or something like that, because like I said, YouTube hates me, has been getting me. And this is where I get it from. Don't know nothing about them. Let's see. Seattle Mayor Douchebag Wilson has started to ship the homeless from Seattle to... Hey, Bob, this one was for you. To Birmingham via the Washington State ferry system in an effort to get the city ready for the FIFA World Cup. All right, so here, let's play this for a second. Oh, there we go. All right. Why we're playing that one? To show that they can move them, they can do things with them if they want. And also because Bob was talking about that in one of his live streams. And I wanted to show that, yes, they do move the homeless. Bob's not just making shit up. Yeah? And Palmetto says Val Kilmer did his homework on the bank scene. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting rid of Comey. Good to go. All right, so just wanted to verify or help show that, you know, Bob's just not flapping his gums. The stuff's actually going on, right? And it's always good to know people that are there. Bob said all the homeless are moved from where he's at right now. All right, here's where we get this one. Don't know nothing about him. Let's see. Ooh, man, sub to him too, though. All right. Let's see. Austin, Texas, under a state shelter in place after 10 shootings in under 24 hours. All right, so we all heard about this one, right? Where these two kids were running around shooting at everybody. It says 10 shootings in one city one day by the same group of teens points to something coordinated. The amount of people that were coming out with conspiracy theories on this was ridiculous. So it just couldn't be retarded kids, I guess, going out there and doing absolute stupid stuff because they have no morals, they have no character, it has no meaning. They think they're playing Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, they've been encouraged to be violent. I mean, these two right here, right? Well, let me go where I showed it from. And Wokeness, if you don't know who they are, you should. They're good to go. Wait, hold on. Yankee. Yeah, you're on the list there. All right. These two fools running around doing stuff. Who does that help in the end? Well, that could help several people, but one of them is the anti-gunners. Yeah. So, let me go back over here and then jump over here, see what you guys are saying. All right, there we go. And Bob's saying the city council passed laws so the police can run them out of town. Good to go. Yeah, no, Bob. I mean, like when I started off and I was talking about the fire, I'd rather hear it from people that are actually there than some dumbass sitting in the Ozarks on their couch in a freaking crooked trailer. Yeah, they don't know nothing. And Redneck's starting to say, I'm noticing homeless starting to show up around here. and we're a small town. And I'm on what list? Being homeless? No, for the person on X, it shows who I know that's on there too. Dun 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 dun. In case you didn't know that. All right, let's see where we're going next. And we're gonna go. Hold on. I gotta figure out a better way to do that. I think I need a better computer. And let's see. Here we go. Don't know much about them. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So okay, hold on. Let me get out of that one for a second. Go back here so I can see you guys and stuff. All right, so I keep saying you got to go to city council meetings. You got to vote. You got to get on the soapbox. You got to do all this other stuff, right? People like, you don't know, you're a Californian. Okay, so this next dude I'm going to show you, his credentials of not being a Californian is impeccable, I would think. All right, so let me go back to this one now that you got to see me get animated, I guess. All right, let's just go down here. Let's just go to what the fella's saying. Turn the sound on. Hold on. And then I got to run this back. Okay, so let me just go up here. Hold on, I got to tell you where it was at. Joel, Texas, Frisco City Council. There you go. For you guys in Tejas, you know where Frisco's at. I don't. Frisco means San Francisco to me. All right, here we go. Let's see what he's got to say.
Next is Joel Teamy from Iowa City, Iowa. After that, we'll have Kelly Smith from Aubrey.
Good evening, council members. It's a pleasure to speak before you this evening. Thank you for hearing everybody and giving everybody a chance to speak. You may be asking yourselves, what is a guy from Iowa doing here in this town to speak on this issue? Well, actually, I come from Texas royalty. My great-grandfather was the first president of the Texas Republic. And for a lot of you, that might sound crazy. Wait a minute, Texas was a republic. But yes, it was. And my great-grandfather was Sam Houston.
Oh, that's better credentials than a guy from California saying it, right? All right. Wait, hold on. What are you guys saying? And Redneck, yeah. Redneck, yes, I follow Yankee on there. Let's see. Be houseless in a couple weeks. Moving off grid, no more mortgage. Oh, that could be a good thing. And Palmetto saying definitely need to show up in meetings. They're trying to put data centers in every county in America. Well, hopefully they just put them in your counties and not mine.
Also, another great-grandfather of mine was Davy Crockett, who fought in the Alamo. And if I go back even further than that, my great-great-great-grandfathers fought under General George Washington in the Continental Army. I was born on Langley Air Force Base. Almost every single one of my family members has served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Me, I took a different route. I went into ministry, traveled to 58 countries preaching the gospel. I was kidnapped and held hostage in 2021 by...
Okay, so we all know that, you know, he's got the credentials or whatever, right? And then he's out preaching the gospel, so that adds to it. And then he was kidnapped by Islamists. So I'm pretty sure he might be able to discuss this subject with some firsthand knowledge, probably, maybe, huh?
Islamists in the Middle East. While on a missions trip to take care of the Coptic widows and fatherless, if you remember the 21 men that were beheaded on that beach by ISIS in Libya, I was taking care of their families. My children have lived on the mission field, on the front lines. Even my kids, my oldest, are 8 years old, and their friends were killed by Muslims. I don't want to bring any mosque to Texas, ever.
Yeah, just ever.
We shouldn't have one here. It's incompatible with what it means to be an American. The oldest mosque in the United States actually is about 50 minutes from where I live now, where I raise my family. I'm 29 years old. I have 6 children. I'm one of 17 children, a Catholic family.
Can you say Damn. 17 kids? That's kind of unheard of nowadays. Let's see. He's got 6. I got 4. So the standard is if you have less than 4 children, you're not doing your part. You could tell your significant other that tonight. Hey, I got to do my part.
Most of whom live in this area, by the way. My brother is married to an Indian. She was a Muslim Indian. And when she came to America, she converted to Catholicism, learned English, and married her husband, my brother. And that's what assimilation looks like. When she was looking for a place of worship, she didn't suggest building a mosque. She decided to go to a church because that's where we worship as Americans in this country. The question is for Texans, what does it mean to be Texan?
There you go. That's a big question.
This question is very important because as we build temples in this state, we are changing the layout and the structure and the fabric of this beautiful Texas state. So listen, this is not what we want. Christ is king. May God bless America and stay true to your roots. God bless you guys. Fight for it.
All right. So why am I showing that? Because there he is at a city council meeting. I'm told doing that stuff's worthless. It's never going to make a difference. There's no point in doing it. Yeah. And my answer to that is take the black pill, shove it in your anal cavity, and squeeze real tight. Let's see. Bob saying California was a republic. Yes, sir. And we shall be a republic again. Dun, dun, dun. Wolverines. Let's see. Redneck saying he bought his house at 23,500 something and got paid off. So now debt free. Good to go. Yankee saying his mom was busy. Yeah. Woohoo. We all got to do our part. 4 or more. 4 or more. He's only 26 and still has time. Yeah, Redneck. He could probably pump those numbers up, right? Palmetto says he hasn't pulled out since 2014. Oh, thank you. Too much information. Redneck says I'm not a sofa. I don't pull up. I got 2 kids and my wife knows about. Oops. All right. Do your part, Redneck. However you do that, just do your part. We all must do our part. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's see where we're going next. And looks like we're going to Andy No, who that if you don't know, you need to know, right? There's Andy No. You may not agree with his lifestyle, all that other good stuff, but he's been put on the same team all the rest of us are being put on. So might want to know he's got good information, yeah? And, hey, there's Anna. I haven't heard from Anna in a while. I got to get a hold of her. Let's see. A federal mistrial was declared against a Portland far-left radical accused of violently attacking and biting law enforcement at a riot outside the ICE facility. Leftists and Antifa supporters have been training the public to cause mistrials involving ICE. All right, so here's the question. How do they get the mistrials to happen? How do they get that to happen? There's a magical, mythical technique that they use. Hey, Savage, how you doing, sir? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So, okay, let's go. Quiz time. Somebody figure it out. How do you cause the mistrial to happen? There's something that you, as an individual, have to do to be in a position to where if something incorrect is happening, you have the ability to make it correct. It's part of the system. But what do you have to do? There's something you got to do. Oh, you guys. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. You guys are going to make me say it. Freaking slackers. Somebody knock the Cheeto dust off their hand and say what it is you have to do. All right, you got to go to jury duty. Yeah. You have to go to jury duty. That's it. You got to go to jury duty. That's one of your obligations. One of the few obligations you have as an American citizen is go to jury duty. Voting should be an obligation, but they don't make you do it. But they make you go to jury duty. Go to jury duty. That's it. You go to jury duty, right? You go, this is completely wrong. No. or yes or whatever, and you stand your ground, you show them that you have a spine, and you do what the right thing is. Now, are they doing that in that situation? No, but guess what their people are doing? Their people are showing up for jury duty and voting and going to meetings. Huh. Hopefully, I made the point there. Yeah? Yeah, just go to jury duty. It's just frustrating at this point. That's why I really don't give a darn. That was a nice way of me saying that. Who I tick off anymore, man. We're beyond the stage of being able to play silly little games. If you don't know who Gunther Eagleman is, you should. He has a lot of good stuff, and then when you see him post stuff, it's usually from good people too. Let's see, and there's Redneck. Oh, there's Yankee, and two others. I don't know who the other ones are. Let's see. All right. So we're moving on to California. Yeah. FBI confirms 2 teen suspects in the Islamic Center of San Diego shooting are dead. At least 3 adult male victims were killed in the attack. All right. I'm sure we've all seen this. This was just the first one that came out. Yeah, I don't have to go run through all the details of it. There are some interesting things that I thought came about with this happening, and we will go to the first one. So this is why I don't jump on there, do breaking news, right? Why? Because I'm not trying to get the clicks and likes and all that other watch time and everything else, right? Because this came out. Here's this dude. He wasn't the first one that came out. This is just the one I grabbed it from. Let's see. Who do I know that's in there? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Trans terror. So the first thing they did was try to say that these 2 kids were trannies because the kids got long hair. Okay, so slow down. Yeah, long hair is just a thing, man. I'm in California. Lots of people have long hair. Hell, once I retired, I let mine grow out for a little while, yeah? The kid's a wrestler, and they used a picture with his braids to try to say he was a tranny. Does that mean all wrestlers are trannies? I mean, I guess I could kind of go with that one. So if you ever wrestled in high school, you're gay, I guess. I don't know. Or you want to be a woman. I don't know. Are trannies want to be... Wait, trannies are want to be women. So you want to be a woman. Okay. So why am I pointing that out? Because too many people want to jump ahead of the cart or jump ahead of the horse, put the cart before the horse, and say, oh, we solved it. They're a tranny, they're a tranny, they're a tranny. Yeah? Man, real life don't work like that. And if you got to run out there and you're not just saying... If you're not just saying, hey, an event has occurred, here's what we know. If you're saying, oh, look, we figured this out. We got the... Man, you're trying to sell something to somebody, yeah? Oh. And jury duty, I'm not a lawyer. Yeah, you don't have to be a lawyer. You just have to know that because they give you the stuff, man. I sat in court, the one jury duty I got on, right? I sat in the jury room and had to explain to these people that this baby got killed by the baby's parents because of the actions they took. And a dude's like, oh, I'm a Christian and I don't think he meant to kill his baby. I'm like, I don't care. The law is black and white. His actions caused that. Had I not been in the jury room, they wouldn't have got him for, what was it? One of the high up murder things where he's never going to get out, right? They'd have gave him some lesser one if I wasn't in the jury room, if I wasn't on the jury. Because they all want to be like, I don't want to cause him to die. What? Yeah, that just blew my mind too. So we had to talk to the judge and say, we're not determining that. But none of that would have took place, and this dude would have got some lower charge and at some point got out on the street if I hadn't been sitting in there and if I hadn't had a spine and a pair of testicles to say, no, man. Actually, what I told the dude is, if I break in your house and I'll clean up what I said, and I perform sexual acts upon you and you die from them, did I kill you or was that just an accident? And I should only get busted for inappropriately touching you, not killing you. I said it in a much more animated way in the jury room to him. To the point that the preacher that was in there, like a for real pastor, was like, hey, Steve, we get the point. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I was fired up. But had I sat on the couch eating the Cheetos, drinking the Bud Light, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Yeah? All right. Watchdog says we travel in the same circles. Yes. Or no, Yankee did. Yeah, Yankee said we travel in the same circles. Yes, I know. I'm always creeping in the background. Not really. Not so much no more. But yeah, because we've all been put on the same team there, Yankee. Regardless of how many people want to admit that or not. Yeah? And Palmetto says, woohoo! I wrestled in 5th grade. Looks like I get all the benefits now. Yes, you can come out of the closet now, Palmetto. Yeah. I see them articles, but they offered no proof. Yeah, Redneck, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No proof. Just let me get the likes and clicks. You know? It's just what it. I get likes, I get clicks. Woo-hoo-hoo. There's that. I won't say names because I don't want to be punching up. But there's a special forces dude in the Pacific Northwest who he's told people, and they've come out and said it, that he's saying the stuff just to get the clicks and likes. That some of the dudes that he was in the army with were like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, man, I'm just making money off this. But people gobble it up. Oh, feed me the bullshit. So anyway, all right. And honestly, guys, we don't have time for none of that. The world is spinning in a bad direction, and we don't have time for all that. All right, let me see what the next one was I had here. All right, so here's where I get this one from. It's not the only person I saw it from. It's just the one I pulled it from. So according to the 75-page manifesto tied to the San Diego Islamic Center attack, now this came out days later. So here are the facts about the shooters based on their own words. They hated Jews. They also hated Islam. They are not trans. They're incels. For you guys that don't know what incels are, they're like dudes that have given up on getting laid. They hated women. Their hatred for women was only surpassed by their hatred for Jews. So I'm going to connect these two things. If you run around all day saying, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, you hate women because you're an incel and you probably wrestled and you're gay. Okay. They hated black people. They hated all immigrants. They hated gays and trans people. They were not MAGA. They did not like Trump, and they did not identify with the right. They openly encouraged the left to take out Trump and J.D. Vance. Yeah. So this incel group and all these guys, they're a new strain, I guess, a new facet of these anti-establishment kind of people. That Nick Fuentes kid that just came out the other day, we talked about it and said he was a Democrat. He's like one of the guys pushing that kind of stuff with the gropers or whatever. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let me catch up what you guys are saying. Is that dude still making videos? Yeah. Gobble gobble. Oops. Sounds like every Antichrist I've ever heard and anarchist I've ever heard. Yeah, you're right, Palmetto. My eyeball ain't working, so it's hard to read. If you get $40 and a truck stop parking lot, no need in giving up. Alrighty, there you go. If you got 40, now I get it. If you got $40 in a truck stop, yeah, but they don't know that. And I don't know if they're allowed to go to where truck stops are. Yeah, exactly, Savage. So here's where I was going with that. The part that's not in there that I actually had saved, but that one was on X, and it got brushed out, was an entire section or saying the kid, if you saw the videos, I won't show the videos. There's a video of after they've ran out of the center and they're in the car. And one kid shoots the other kid in the head, and then he puts a gun in his mouth and shoots himself. And you can tell it's not AI, and you can tell it's not fake. If you've ever seen this stuff for reals, you know what it looks like, right? So you can tell it's all legit. Well, the kid that put the gun in his mouth, and you see it, he said he was a National Socialist. But they keep brushing that aside. No, right? He self-proclaims that that's what he is. All right, and going on. Let's see, where's the next one? Okay, hold off on that one for a second. So, going back to the other thing, why I was making a big deal about it. Cuz man, can we please get the information before we start running around saying we know what it is, right? If we can't get good information now, right, when the rounds aren't going down range, how are we supposed to get good information when the rounds are going down range? All right. And it's from this dude, don't know nothing about him, but like I said, he's got that Guntherman dude there, so I don't know, we'll give him a little bit. We'll say, okay, maybe he's all right. So it says, holy crap, Los Angeles Democrat leaders are now moving to allow non-citizens to vote in their elections. Yes, they are. It says they aren't even hiding it. No, they're not. Their reason, it happens elsewhere already. So we pointed out where this takes place in other places and people let it go. And then they say, as an excuse, elsewhere, other people are doing it. Yeah. So this needs to be banned nationwide. Yes. And how do we do that? We get people in office that will do something. Hold on. Let me just play it. Here we go. Sound. Do the sound thing. All right. Here we go.
Fairness. LA City Council member Hugo Soto Martinez speaking out Thursday about his new proposal to allow non-citizen voting in local elections.
I believe they deserve a voice in the city they helped build.
This coming one day after he proposed the change in the city's charter, sparking support and criticism.
I'm not sure. I mean, I realize in local elections they are affected by the vote. I do think that voting is an aspect of citizenship.
Voters in North Hollywood with differing opinions on what could be something to vote on come November.
Honestly, I feel like it should definitely happen. I mean, I don't really see a problem with that.
If people have been living in a place and contributing to whatever was going on there for a number of years, absolutely, why wouldn't they want to say in that situation?
Because they're not citizens. So, but now think of it this way as we keep going through this one right here. If they vote for something and LA screws something up, where's LA going to go? They're going to go to the state and say, state, give us money, right? And the state's going to go say, hey, feds, give us money to cover up, fix, bail out, whatever the non-citizens screw up by voting in LA.
And that is the premise behind the new proposal, allowing voting in local elections like city council or the school board.
Non-citizen suffrage or voting actually used to exist in this country prior to.
Okay, so Churla, I can't say the abbreviation down here. That's a immigrants' rights group person.
To 1926.
Angelica Salas is the executive director of Churla. She says non-citizen voting already takes place in San Francisco and other states like Vermont and Maryland.
But it happens everywhere else. We should be able to do it here too.
40% of the city of Los Angeles is composed by immigrants. Not all of them are naturalized citizens that can now cast a vote. The majority, in fact, are individuals who are green card holders, refugees, DACA holders, people with temporary protected status.
But other organizations.
You notice she made it sound like they all have some kind of legal standing.
Say it's not right. The Federation of American Immigration Reform issued a statement saying in part, voting is a right and privilege of citizenship and extending it to people who have not yet become citizens or who are here illegally renders citizenship meaningless.
Exactly. And that would be a good thing for them if citizenship was meaningless, right? And then it starts here in California and it spreads.
A point polarized in the current political climate, making many wonder if the timing may not be right for change.
I really haven't made up my mind.
But this proposal obviously still has a long way to go. Right now, it's being discussed in committee. It will need to be voted on by the city council by the end of June before appearing on your ballot come November.
All right. So let me get rid of that one. And I'll jump back over this one. All right, let me see. So, Savage says, sounds anti-everything with a dash of commie. Yeah, exactly. Quite literally, Palmetto says, quite literally sounds like the dude that wrote the Anarchist Cookbook. Yes. And Yankee says that slows down the paperwork afterwards. And Palmetto says non-citizens voting is just the end of the country and our sovereignty. Only dumb shit would allow this. Yes. Let's see. That'd be a good place for ICE to camp out. Let me pause it right there for a second. Me and Palmetto were talking, and he was unaware because he's not in the California that they were still doing ICE raids here. And even here in California, they downplayed it. I wonder why. Because if they keep downplaying that ICE is still out there getting people, then Trump doesn't get a win. And I sent Palmetto a thing showing where they're still doing ICE raids. There's still people. Oh, this is a tie-in good. There's still people out there trying to stop ICE from doing things. And hopefully this works because it was screwing up on me earlier. All right. So, hey, that was a good segue into this real quick. So I remember I said, pay attention to that group she's with, right? So I pronounced it wrong. No, that one's wrong. That one's wrong. Hold on. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Here we go. No, that's the wrong. Yeah, there we go. I spelled it right that time. So it's the Coalition for Human Immigration Rights. Yeah, it's been in the news due to several major political, legal, and legislative actions in California. So they endorsed Comrade Bass. Yeah, they did the advocacy, I can't even say it, in Sacramento. Yeah, tenant protections, healthcare access, over public funding and free speech. Yeah, conservative lawmakers have been going after them. Yeah, directing the May Day 2026 mobilizations. Wow. Yeah, they're commies, guys. We've talked about them before. Yeah. They also are the ones that help fund the people that go after ICE. Yeah. So we've already talked about them. We already know who they are in case you weren't putting two and two together. Yeah. They're commies. So of course they want everybody to vote, right? Let me see what else we got going there. And let's see. Everyone that votes for non-citizen voting should lose their right to vote. I agree, Palmetto. The only right thing is the right to leave. Yes. Yeah, exactly, Redneck. Same thing Palmetto said. No. I bet she's DEI. Churlillo for Cholo, something like that. Yeah. So we've already talked about that group. Yeah. They organized May Day parades, we'll call it, because they really didn't get all crazy. Why? Because the cops were going to jump on them. That's the opposition, right? Those are commies. I don't care what they say. They're freaking commies. And they're trying to get it so your vote as a citizen doesn't matter. Because they're up every day doing things, not just licking the Cheeto dust off of their wrestling buddies' fingertips. All right? All right. Let me check where I'm going next. Oh, yeah. All right, so here's question time. So everybody pay attention for a minute. Here we do this. All right, everybody pay attention. I got a question for you guys. Other than maybe on social media, have you guys seen this story anywhere? I haven't even seen it in the local news. Get it from that dude again. So this dude, they called it the Trump house because this older guy right here, his whole house was covered in Trump stuff. I don't know if I can play. I think the sound doesn't have anything in it. Hold on. I might have to click it off real quick. But let's watch this little video.
Somebody decided that our stuff was not good. Look at this. Incredible.
So that's why they called it the Trump house, yeah? Yeah, he got beat up in front of his house because people were trying to tear stuff up, and he said, hey, don't do that. So they beat the crap out of him. Have any of you guys heard about this case of political violence, of leftist political violence, outside of the California area? I'm going to probably say no, unless you saw it on social media somewhere, yeah? Because we got to downplay that stuff. But that guy's probably going to die, yeah? So just the same as last week or the week before, we talked about the case that was just right over there, where a dude beat up a Jewish guy who was, saying, I'm not for Palestine, right? And that dude died. Well, now that guy's going to court, but you don't hear anything about it anywhere. Hocus Pocus, here's some pizza on your house. Redneck says, I heard about it, but yeah, on social media. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, Rifleman, how you doing, sir? So now, the reason I'm bringing that up is, one, it's fucked up. Two, social media is where we can get this stuff out, where people can hear it, right, and see it. So I'm asking you guys, get up on the soapbox, and when you see stuff like that, forward it to your little circle. In your little circle, somebody forwards it to somebody else, and the word gets out, because obviously the mainstream media is not going to tell us this dude's on life support and about to die simply for putting stuff in his own yard. Yeah? Let's see. Hold on. My eyeball ain't working. Savage Snow. C103 says, I saw the story in his photo in the hospital on regular news. Never heard that story. Yeah, exactly, Savage. So that's what I'm saying. When I say get on the soapbox, I don't mean go stand out on the street corner and scream at the freaking clouds. The soapbox nowadays, the town square, whatever you want to call it, is social media. Use it. You can just lick off the Cheeto dust and hit forward or send or something, right? It's not real hard. And Yankee says, I'm too old to take the ass whooping, but I'm very too old to send a freedom seat downrange. There you go. Everyone says, doing well, rocking out in the hotel room, shooting a big regional match this weekend. Alrighty. Oh, on social media. Okay, see? So when I'm bitching at everybody, right, to use the freaking boxes, the soapbox is social media. Get out there and do it. Why do you think I'm on here? I could be doing other things. I could be playing video games. I'm playing Bannerlord War Cells, and I'm doing pretty good. But no, I'm sitting here on the soapbox trying to do something, yeah? No. Don't they have private property rights? Ours go to the curb. Yeah, but supposedly the way I heard the story was he walked out there to get him to stop ripping his stuff up, and they just took it to him. Yeah. So when he walked out there and said stop, they just took it to him. So, and let's see. Pomero says, I love making soap while chopped in a box. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Because I'm actually doing something, unlike the wannabe super cool kids that aren't doing a damn thing. Let's see. Where are we going? All right. We're going out of California now. We're going. Here's Libs of TikTok. If you don't know who they are, you should know who they are. Oh, Redneck knows who they are. Yankee knows who they are. And 8 others, but I don't know who they are. And Cambridge, Massachusetts. City Council just voted to discontinue the use of shot spotter technology used to detect gunfire. The vote came after activists said it would impact black people and illegals the most. Okay, so now somebody will see this story and think nothing of it, right? Didn't they just stop using it in Chicago too? Because, I don't know, maybe it's getting people caught. And if we want to be able to have our mobs, we saw an example of a mob earlier, if we want to have our mobs run around and do craziness, and at some point they're going to have to use firearms to do their craziness to achieve the goal of revolution, if we can't do it by voting, then we don't want to have systems like this in place that would impact our revolutionary comrades. Yeah? So here, let's hear what they say.
And to stop the use of ShotSpotter in our community. I'm concerned about the precedent we set as a city if we allow ShotSpotter devices to remain active and collect surveillance data in our streets without our city's ownership of the data, without a vote from the city council, and with direct perpetuating of systemic racism and inequity through the targeting of Cambridge's Black and Brown communities, as many speakers before me have already spoken to. When we allow the infrastructure for surveillance to exist in our city, our community and each of us becomes vulnerable to the use of this technology by anti-democratic forces like ICE.
Anti-democratic forces. Huh.
So we know ShotSpotter is funded by the DHS, as well as vulnerable to the erosion of trust between our neighbors, our community, and with our representatives. And to
Okay, so we just saw, I don't know, last week, the week before, they wanted to get rid of the closed circuit TVs in Seattle, was it? Because people were getting caught. Yeah. Now they want to get rid of that there so they can't catch the people shooting. Like, okay. Yeah. But did you notice something else in there? I noticed something else in there. The boogeyman. Who's the boogeyman? Ice. Ice, ice, baby. All right. They need a boogeyman. If they don't have a boogeyman, then they fall on deaf ears, right? Somebody has to be the boogeyman. Vanessa, hello, ma'am. How are you? Good to see you, ma'am. So they have to have a boogeyman. Orange man bad. White men bad. Whatever it is. So now that seems to be a low IQ stance on everything, right? The boogeyman do it. The boogeyman do it. So now when you're pointing at the boogeyman, take those other fingers and point them back at you. Are you making a boogeyman? Does that make sense? All righty. Let's see. Get off my lawn. There you go, Yankee. And Redneck saying we'll only have the ballot box, the soap box, and the cartridge box. Guess what? It's coming too quickly. I agree, but we have the ballot box, the soap box, the jury box, then the cartridge box. And yes, it's coming too quickly. And some dudes are just using the tissue box and saying there's nothing they can do. You like that one? So there is another box. It's the tissue box. And if you look, I don't know, pretty much anybody that's black-pilled, look to the side of them and they got a tissue box. Because there's nothing we can do. There you go, Full Metal. Vanilla Ice is definitely the boogeyman. Yeah. So when you're doing it, don't make a boogeyman. You know, small hat people. That's just retarded. That just, you know, goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this. Are you making a comic book character out of the opposition? Yes. Hold on. Oh, okay. I know where I'm going. All right. So we're going to move along to another state now. And again, I want to show this because it's happening everywhere and they are pushing everywhere. So time to push back. Yeah. Here's this person. Don't know jack about him. But Colleen McCarty is running for Tulsa County District Attorney as a Republican. Here is a picture of her in a news article, pregnant at a pro-abortion rally with a choice written on the pink shirt covering her pregnant belly. Let's see. McCarty admitted at a recent debate that she donated to Bernie Sanders in the past. Records show she also donated to Act Blue. In case you guys don't know, that's the Democratic fundraiser thing. McCarty is not being honest about her political beliefs, and she's not a real Republican. She stands zero chance running for that office in this state as a Democrat. Shows she's pretending to be a Republican. The district attorney's office is an office of trust, and if we cannot trust her to tell the truth about who she is, how are we going to trust her to tell us the truth about how she will use the power of the district attorney's office if she gets elected? All right, so here's a picture they were talking about. Yeah? All right, why is that important? So Tulsa's in Oklahoma, right? That's not California. So didn't we just see in Virginia somebody mislead people about what they were going to do and how they were going to represent people, and then they got in office? And district attorney is either at the city or county level, right? So voting matters at these levels especially. Yeah. So if you know somebody in Tulsa, be like, hey, you guys are about to have somebody sneak in there. Yeah. And Palmetto says, tissue box. We use happy socks around these parts. And Rifleman says so sick of with blaming Jews for everything. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, I am too. It's no different than them blaming ICE for everything. So improve your mental understanding of the world, etc., or shut the fuck up, man. I'm just tired of it at this point, getting caught up with that. I mean, and it plays into the Muslims' hands. So you must just wave the white flag. All right, moving along here. Here's this one. Now this is funny. We've been way too serious, so we need to have some funny. But there's also something to be taken away from this video. So, guys catches a dude trying to steal his bike, right? Here we go. All right, so he's using that force necessary to gain control of the situation and to get back his stolen property. See the fellow right here on the bike? He's going to be Captain Save-A-Ho in a minute. All right, Captain Save-A-Ho has rescued another hoe. Yay, good job, Captain Save-A-Ho. Wait, hold on. Wait. The bad guy just tried to steal Captain Save-A-Ho's ride. Now Captain Save-A-Ho is having to use that force necessary to gain control of the situation.
Feeling like a scooter now? Oh, cops are gonna get him. Special constable. Here they come now. Now he's running.
Oh, look, even Captain Save-A-Ho was pointing the cops towards him. Huh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there was no alternative motives on why that guy was breaking that fight up. But, you know, you see what you see with your own eyeballs. Yeah. All right. She's a Republican. Yeah, exactly. And then Redneck says, Timu Obama is big mad because there's some Democrats running on anti-Israeli comments. And says here in Texas, Eastern California. Alrighty. Yeah, it's Eastern California. Yeah. And pepper gel. There you go. Bob's got a fascination with pepper gel, by the way. Yeah, the jokes write themselves. Exactly. So, and let's see. Redneck saying if the first guy would have used the proper amount of force, the guy wouldn't have been able to try stealing again. Yeah, but here's the thing. Most guys don't know how to use these. Did you see what he was doing? He's like they're in grade school. Yeah? I mean, he should have just broke that dude's arm or something and moved on, right? Or just beat him down enough to go back on his bike and leave, whatever. But, you know, Captain Save-A-Ho had to run in there, and then the person he's trying to save tries to steal from him. That seems to be like a bigger picture thing. That, you know, the person you try to save ends up burning you. Anyway. And then I thought it was funny that they're all pointing at the cop, you know? All right, so that was our moment of humor. Now we got to get back to grinding. And let's see. Here we go. So some of this is going to tie into stuff that we touched on earlier. Don't know much about that dude. Let's see. Shortly following Donald Trump's election, douchebag chick was verbally assaulted by 3 white men who tried to pull off her job and called her a terrorist, and they cried out their support for Donald Trump. I remember this story. We talked about it, yeah? The news went ballistic. Headline after headline. Trump's racist America had begun. One problem. Douchebag chick, wait for it, made it up. Yeah.
The Muslim college student who claimed she was harassed on the subway by 3 men who shouted Donald Trump, called her a terrorist, and tried to rip her hijab off her head has admitted to detectives she concocted the entire story. Yasmin Saweed was arrested and charged with filing a false report. She had numerous opportunities to admit the incident never happened, but again and again stood by her story. After again being confronted with questions from detectives increasingly suspicious of her story, she recanted and said she made it all up, citing family problems. A police source said nothing happened. There was no victim. It wasn't immediately clear what Saweed hoped to gain by lying to police.
But, I got cut it before that music gets going. But, she made the national news. I remember hearing about it. Yeah. All right. So this is a little follow-up session, guys. I put stuff out of order every week just to see, like, you know, where it can go. Let me see. Redneck saying chicken wing with a twist and sharp over jerk usually does a trick. Yes, sir. Or my catfish skin and flyers. Ouch. Ouch. She can't understand normal thinking. Yeah. There you go. I get it. CUNT. Yeah. She won't have that hijab in prison. Yes, she will. They make accommodations for Muslim in prison. Sorry. All right. And then, so following up, because nobody ever follows up with these damn stories, they just get their little likes and clicks and move on to the next one, right? So let's see. Don't know much about that dude. Let's see. April 2023, a cross is burned in front of a campaign sign for a black mayoral candidate douchebag with the N-word spray painted on it. The incident generated significant local media coverage with headlines framed as racist threat from white opponent, which got this guy to win the election. But apparently it was not true. Hold on.
Between then mayoral candidate Yemi Mobolade and one of the men accused of concocting.
If you can see it in the background between the two reporters is a burning cross with the sign that says the bad word.
A hate crime hoax prior to the 2023 runoff election.
The court documents run through 5 separate contacts between suspect Derek Bernard and Mobolade, beginning with a Facebook message from Bernard to Mobolade 10 days before a cross was set on fire in front of a Mobolade campaign sign that had the N-word spray painted on it. According to court documents, that initial message from Bernard read, quote, "I'm mobilizing my squadron in defense and for the final push. Black Ops style, Big Brother, the Klan cannot be allowed to run this city again."
Bernard then texted Mobolade on April 23rd in response to a message about needing support to get to the finish line. A 5-minute phone call was also shared prior to the election. A final text from Bernard to Mobolade was also documented the day of the May 16th election. Now tonight, Mayor Mobolade responded in a
Hold on. Let's see what he says.
Statement writing, "That incident during my campaign led to a very traumatic time for my family, my campaign team, and our community. My knowledge and interaction with Bernard was as a local media personality."
He goes on to say, "I was not aware at the time that he was suspected of this crime. I appreciate local and federal law enforcement's work in pursuing justice and sending a message that we will not tolerate such reprehensible behavior." Derek Bernard and 2 others are now facing federal charges of conspiracy to commit offense or defraud the United States.
They're also charged with using instrumentalities of interstate.
All right, they just go into the legal mumbo jumbo. I remember that story too. Nobody followed up on it. Yeah, I'm gonna catch what y'all are saying. Oh, I got to approve this one. What did you say, Yankee? Uh-oh. The race card won't won the election. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. She wanted to do a job in prison. Weekends are for war now. Haven't you heard weekends are for war? Hello, the High Desert Pioneer. How are you, sir? Let's see. Mr. Bike Thief should be in your basement. All right, Bob. I'm not gonna go there with that one. And High Desert, I will in a gentlemanly way disagree with you. We can vote our way out of stuff. I didn't want to put anything on that video where you had mentioned it because dumbasses would make more of it than needed to be made of it. All right, let's see. Here we go. What's the next one? So I found this one interesting simply because like the local kind of thing. Here's Wall Street Apes. If you don't know them, you should know them. Yeah. All right. So the TMZ guy, yeah, he made a big deal about getting Spencer Pratt on his show and then tried to embarrass Spencer Pratt. And locally, there was a big backlash telling him and that other dumb SOB that they both need to shut up and understand what's going on and what was being said. But this guy and the other co-host or whatever he is on there, they just licked the boots of the Karen Bass types. But suddenly, after he got a backlash, he comes out with this.
I'm not only a born and raised Los Angelino, but I'm second generation. My dad was born and raised in LA. And so this is my life. And I have seen this city just fall apart, over the last, 8, 9 years, but especially the last 4 years. that
Wait, what? Wait, who's been in charge the last 4 years?
that the homeless problem is out of control in this city. I've been chased by people. A guy with a hammer walking out of my gym. He chased me with a hammer. I had a mentally ill woman, a homeless woman, take a boulder and trash my car, and
trashed his car. And he just stood there and watched her.
I caught her doing it, and I realized there is nothing I can do. What am I going to do? Get her arrested? I mean, what is that going to do? Am I going to sue her? So I literally looked at my car, watched her walk away, and said, I live in Los Angeles. And
so what he basically did was he went outside and he said, excuse me, ma'am, I'll trade you my man card for the boulder that you're trashing my car with because I can't do anything. I'm a little cuck, beta bitch, whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
The fires have been an absolute outrage in this city. This didn't have to happen. We had 100 fire trucks that were out of service. The water pressure was messed up, and people lost their homes as a result of bad leadership. And then all of a sudden, people are throwing other people under the bus for no reason. This city operated in an appalling way during the fires. And by the way, it's not over. The insurance companies are screwing people over left and right. I've got a friend, his name is Dan Brunn. He's an amazing architect. He put together a plan with 100 architects to offer their services free of charge to rebuild Altadena and Pacific Palisades. And they had a whole plan. I actually contacted Gavin Newsom. And Newsom...
I remember when you did that. I remember.
And actually put his people in touch with Dan. And they were all in, and they brought it down to the city, which they had to do, and it died a slow death in the city of Los Angeles.
Okay, so anyway, that's enough of what he's saying. I like the way he suddenly is trying to take the side of basically Spencer Pratt after he tried to make Spencer Pratt seem like an idiot, and Spencer Pratt wasn't taking it because he's not a politician. He's not a politician running for an office, so he doesn't play their game. Now, do I think he's going to get elected? Probably not, because you get elected by the people that count the votes, right? But he's causing all kinds of issues, yeah? To the point that this little cuck, who just admitted he turned his man card into a homeless woman, is like, hey, can I get back on your team? No, you can't get on the team, fool. I'm going to catch up what you're saying. Here comes Bob again. Pepper jail! Palmetto says, they haven't had real rain in months. We had about an inch 2 weeks ago, and that's it. Oops. Let's see. He should have sent her to the ER. Yeah, he should have done something, yeah? So, rednecks telling Palmetto they had 2 inches in the last 3 days. Rifleman saying, all right, folks, time for you to make like a baby and head out. All right, dude. Have good luck tomorrow. Yeah. So, I just wanted to show you guys that I keep running into this in social media land where I find good things and then that happens. I try to save them for the end of the week and that happens. So I got to figure out a way to, I don't know, maybe take a screenshot or something. I don't know. I got to figure out a way to still get the information. And yeah, because that keeps happening to me. I got like 3 stories that I even forgot what the hell they were because they just disappeared on me. Yeah. So there's that whole deciding what can and can't be said out there. Censorship. That's the word I was looking for. All right, here we go. Going here. And now we're, breaking. Virginia Democrats furious that courts kept referring to some strange document that prevents them from doing whatever they want. It's Nick Fuentes. Not Fuentes. Freitas, whatever it is. Let's see. This is that governor. Oh, wait a minute. We were just talking about her. So she's a person that presented herself one way, got into power, and flipped the script, just like the person running to be a DA in Tulsa seems like they want to do. Huh. Yeah. What did she say? The Supreme Court of the United States has now joined the Supreme Court of Virginia in choosing to nullify an election and the votes of more than 3 million Virginians. These Virginians made their voices heard, casting their ballots in good faith. That would maybe, like, some incel type dude say, hey, maybe maybe I'm legit to go do stupid shit because the mayor said it was okay. Yeah, Yankee, I might try that, but I'm not sure how to share the screenshots doing this live stream thing at the same time. I have to figure it out. I have to play with it. So yeah, and then moving along with stories like this. Hold on. This is where I get it from. Don't know that person. Whatever. Yeah, this person says his freedom and his rights were infringed upon. So this guy's graduating from college and he wants to put this flag up. I checked into this story. Every student was notified that this type of behavior, regardless of whatever the flag, sign, they had a whole list of things, placard, every word you could think of to not do this. Oh, hold on. I left myself a note not to play the music. Sorry. Yeah, that's him crying about his rights. Yeah. So as soon as something happens, then it becomes my civil rights been violated. You gonna have to compensate me. But I checked into that. I literally did. I didn't save it all. But there was notices from the college, emails, poster things, whatever you want to say, saying don't do this. But why has he got to listen to the rules? He's morally justified in what he's doing because people tell him he's morally justified in what he's doing. Like governors saying that other people's votes aren't being counted. I don't know. And let's see. Yankee saying, unfortunately, Nick will never run for Oval Office. Yeah. I wish he'd run for some kind of office somewhere. Pometo saying, I saw you could wear whatever on your collar, but you weren't allowed to bring an actual flag. He did it anyway. Yeah. So it wasn't even like they just said nothing at all. You know what I mean? They kind of met him halfway. You can do this little thing, but don't do this big thing and take away from the whole event for everybody. But he's morally justified because Palestine, right? Yeah, anyway. So yeah. Let me see what this next one was. Oh, all right. So that was kind of all the little stuff there, the following up, the whole, let's see, we did the follow-up thing, we did the states thing, we did some stories I thought were missing. Let's go a little international now. Don't know nothing about this person. Hey, did you guys know that they had a protest, a parade, a gathering in England? Yeah. So this guy's saying if you're in Ireland, Europe, USA, or Oz, otherwise known as Australia, show the world that hundreds of thousands of Brits are fighting back against mass migration. So this picture right here, the British government doesn't want you to see. All these people along the road there standing up, right? I think there's music in here, so let me kink that, and then we'll play it. Come on. Good enough. It's just that little pan and tilt thing. So another reason I wanted to show this and talk about England and London and all that good stuff is because they've finally, I guess, have got pushed far enough that they decided to get off the couch. Everybody's saying, what can we do? We can do nothing. I just sit here and take black pills and eat Cheetos. I don't know. You can get out on the street like these people are doing, yeah? All right. And then same story. Don't know who this is. Hold on. And I don't think there's music in this one.
You're, as you see there, bang in the middle of that group of people, and something happens, you need to step in. You then got to get yourself somewhere where a police vehicle can get to, which isn't difficult in the middle. And what we've got today, 2 big marches. So you've got a huge part of central London that's now shut off. So you can find yourself between the middle of the two and nowhere for you and your prisoner to go to. So it has to be like a quite a definite decision, and we've got to step in at this point, at this time, to take that.
Okay, so we saw this one on the left is the native peoples protesting being conquered by other peoples who are not native. This on the right is the sellouts and the conquerors walking around. If you're paying attention to any of this, the group on the left, they brought 4,000 police officers in to make sure that they didn't do anything rowdy. The group on the right, they had minimal amount of police observation. The group on the left was told by their prime minister that they all were going to be on, what do you call that, facial recognition, and they would all be logged and numbered and categorized. The people on the right were not told the same thing.
That person out of the crowd. But 11 arrests so far, huge crowds already, as we can see, going right the way back along. Stewards at the front. The stewards will manage the crowd.
Now,
you guys notice that the group on the left, we're not sure what they're saying. But the group on the right, they're getting free publicity. You can see everything that they're doing, yeah?
Operationally, if there were a skirmish that broke out, I'm just speaking hypothetically here, in the middle of this big street here, of this big throng of people, how would police deal with that?
You go in. You have to go, but you would go in almost with your
how do you, other than...
Okay, so they just keep blah, blah, blahing. But why are we bringing that up? Because you can do something besides sit on the couch and complain, because other people are, and they're a little further down the line than we are, and they're going, hey, wait a minute, we should have stood up before, now we're standing up. I don't know, just like some guy from California keeps saying, hey, all you people should stand up now before you end up where we are. And we're not as far down the road as those people are. Here's where I get this one from. Let's see. Leftists and Islamics are chanting in London to assassinate Tommy Robinson like Charlie Kirk. Shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. And the police did nothing about it. Yeah, because you guys know over there you can go to jail for just forwarding something. Yeah? Just saying that somebody else takes offense to.
Excuse me, should we shoot Tommy Robinson in the neck? Okay.
Get your clip elsewhere.
So they've just said that they want to hang Tommy Robinson and shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. It's getting very...
There's something else you could probably do. You could probably get out there with the camera and a microphone, because this little lady can. But you know what? I'm going to get my war gear at some point in the future and do something. All right. And then, hold on. I'm going to keep pushing with this England thing for a second, and then I'll catch up with you guys. And this one's from Andy No. And they're going to have to try to separate the two groups. Let's see. Now, you notice that group over there, they're wearing masks and all kinds of good stuff, yeah? Supposedly illegal.
Hey, give the top space, mate. Don't get right up behind them. Nice one.
No, move back onto the pavement. The vans are moving back. You're doing. Move back. Touch me again, it's self-defense.
So the group filming this is actually out in the street standing against, what's that? Oh, that would be the Antifa, what do they call them? Far left militants and Antifa and all that good stuff. I mean, so if you're wondering what you can do other than sit on your couch and bitch, moan, and complain, yeah, I don't know. England's showing you the way. All right, let me go over here. And let's see, that's where I was. And brownie points for doing the thing in a big place. Oh, I got lost on that one, Palmetto. Don't a bunch of Congress fly a foreign flag in their chambers? Yes, redneck, and I don't understand why. I totally don't understand why. I'm starting to get on board with the, if you weren't born here, you shouldn't hold a position of power here. I know it's kind of an asshole-y thing to say, but I'm definitely heading that way. Oh. Palmetto says these are the kids that act out for attention, thinking any attention is good attention. Yeah, because mommy didn't hug them enough. Even Japan is seeing the invasion. Hold that thought. I think I got something in here about that. And then Palmetto says, what is the sitting on the couch thing? We can do that? No, we here can't. Other people, they do it all day long. That's all they do. They just sit around and, you know what those other people should be doing? Well, should you be doing something? I can't. There's nothing I can do because I'm a bitch. Yeah. And Yankee says, I think the sun is about to set on the British Empire. Let's hope not. Let us hope not. British Empire is done. Walking Dead at this point. Oops. Yeah. But, again, England's way down the drain, right? They're way down the drain. And they finally said, oh, golly, let us do something. I don't know. I don't have a British accent. I don't know how to say it in British, right? So they're saying, hey, we screwed up. Don't be like us. Further up the drain, not as far down the drain, hi from California. And I'm saying, stand up and do something, right? But too many people come up with excuses to not do anything. Yeah, I know. I make those people mad. I don't care. All right, moving along. We're moving from jolly old England, or what were they calling it? Islamaland or something like that. Somebody had a nickname for it. I can't remember right now. Got this from this person. And, yeah, terror attack in Modena, Italy. Yeah, second generation North African migrant has rammed a crowd of people. He then gets out of the car and stabbed people. Unofficial sources speak of 2 dead and 8 seriously wounded. A woman was seen on the ground with both legs missing. All right, there's a couple of reasons I'm going to bring this up. One, this is the kind of attacks that Al-Qaeda 20 years ago said start doing, yeah? And we keep seeing them, and people keep ignoring them, right? The next part is the whole, after running over people, jumps out and starts stabbing everybody, yeah? And I know everybody's going to say, if I had a gun. Well, not if you were on vacation in Italy, you wouldn't have a gun. But anyway, so hold on, let me go. Okay, I think I can show this one, but I'm not 100% sure. So I might get nailed for it. But for you guys, I will show it, and I will take the consequences. Got it from this person. So this is the guy got out of the car, started stabbing people after he run them over, and here's some people stopping him. It says it's graphic, all that. I don't know. YouTube will probably hit me for it, but whatever. I don't think that's too violent or whatever, but if you're watching this afterwards and there's a missing piece, well, it's because of this. I've had to go back in the live streams and tell them to edit out parts that I say mean things. So let me go down here, make sure I know where you're at. Hey, Wayne, how you doing, sir? Oh, why don't vacation in Italy? There you go. But lots of things, you know. You could be going down the boardwalk and all of a sudden a car hits you. You didn't get a chance to get your gun, right? Okay. Why am I bringing that up? Because I'll just flat out say it. Most of the dudes that want to run their mouths, they're not going to go after that dude when he's got a knife. They're not going to run up and help him, you know? Just they're not. So the other day, when the fire was here, I was driving home from the doctor's office and see a dude have a seizure in the middle of the street and he falls out. There had to be 200 people probably saw this. Me and 3 other people stopped. Probably less than 10% stopped to help this dude that was obviously laying in the road and was going to get run over, right? They just went around him, yeah? So when all these people say, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, no, you're not. and you're not going to run up on some dude with a knife, especially if you're empty-handed, right? All the dudes that I carry a gun everywhere all the time, it's going to happen to them the one day they don't have it, and they're going to go, I don't have a gun. I can't be a man. I know, I make people mad. I don't care at this point. I don't care at this point. All right, so moving along. Hold on. Here we go. Alrighty, so this is a couple days later. Got it from this person. Yeah. So the truth is finally coming out. The mainstream media there tried to hide it. Yeah. This is the guy that did the running over and the stabbing. He says in his little writings or whatever, you must give me a job as an employee. You fucking Christian bastards. You and your Jesus Christ on the cross. I'll burn him. Yeah. But the left and their media said that he was just mentally ill. Yeah. Yeah. He's just another Islamic hater, whatever you want to say. So again, the story came out for a second and they said, no, the guy was mentally ill. And then I watched people stop talking about it. But if you wait more than 2 seconds, you find out, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. All right. And hold on, let me go over here. And let's see. And Savage, let's see. Luckily, no tornado warning, but it's storming pretty good right now. I thought you said you didn't get any rain. You got rain coming, all right. It must be annoying when he comes back every 3 days. Oh, I got lost. What are we talking about? Watch out for your cornhole if you're in the south. Our town just got smacked by a tornado. Oh, shit. You all right there, Wayne? All right, hold on. Wayne, are you guys good to go? I'm just going to stop for a second until Wayne tells us if he's good to go or not. Wayne. 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 All right, Wayne's dead. At least he managed to get... Oh, they're good. All right, they're good. Good to go. All right, we shall continue. And Redneck says we don't owe illegals anything. Yes, you do. You owe them everything because of colonization, right? And the empires that were spread. You owe them everything. So I need somebody to tell me what year in history that we're just going to go from. There needs to be like a line. Anything beyond that doesn't matter. Only this line forward matters, so it'll make more sense in my head. Yeah? All right, hold on, let me see. What was the next one I was going to do? Oh, yeah, okay. So a story that I thought didn't get enough attention, but it's in the international realm, so I put it in the international story box. Got it from this person. I heard it from other folks, too. This is just where I got it from. So this weekend, a joint U.S.-Nigeria operation killed high-ranking ISIS leader douchebag in northeastern Nigeria. Yeah. So the U.S. and these guys went after this dude and got him. Supposedly they were trying to capture him, but he put up too much of a fight. So they just sent in air assets and dropped stuff on him. Why does this matter? Because there's things being done for you all the time in other places that people don't know about and they don't want to acknowledge. And it's ridiculous. You know? I don't know how to say that because fucking people take for granted their safety and their freedom, but there's people out there looking out for them, yeah? All right, let's see. Yankees saying 1776. I could probably go for that one. And Redneck says history doesn't count before 1861 at Fort Sumter. So we're only going to count it from when the South decided to be rebels and leave America. All right, we can count it from there. And then, yeah, because then that would include the part where they lost to all the Yankees. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Wayne saying the lumberyard got hit first and send lumber through the whole town. The tornado siren is right next to the lumberyard. It got taken out first. Oops. And, oh, you posted pictures? Okay, I've been on here. I haven't seen them. So, another reason I was bringing up about the dude falling out in the street. Hey, you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to find a boo-boo kit and put it in my car. I got a new car. In the new car, I don't have a boo-boo kit. I got a trauma kit, but I don't have a boo kit. Dude hit his face. He's bleeding everywhere. Couldn't put nothing on him. It was funny, though, because the other guy that was there, it was me, a dude, and two chicks stopped, right? Everybody else was like, just get out of my way. So he goes to his car. He pulls out a little bag, sets it on the ground, opens it up, realized he pulled the wrong zipper, and I could see his pistol in there. So he zips it up real quick, pulls it open, and what's this? I can't remember the name of it right now. Shit. The powder stuff you put on gun wounds, that clogs it up. I can't remember the name of it. He pulls that out and starts looking at it, and I'm like, no, dude, he doesn't need that. That's why, because I had some napkins in my car. I'm like, that's why I just gave him the napkins. That's why I didn't pull my stuff out. And all of a sudden the guy looks at me and goes, you got the same stuff in your car? I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, oh. I thought it was funny because, one, get a boo-boo kit in your car. Two, this guy thought he was like the only dude that had a tool on him. Huh, interesting. Anyway, all right. Deliver direct to your living room. And I lost on that one. Stop the bleed. Is that what it's called? Stop the bleed? There's another. Quick clot. That's it. The dude 1 foot quick clot on the dude's nose because he hit like right here and he had cut himself. He was bleeding all over the fucking place. So, hey, Sasquatch, Buggity, how you doing, sir? Pull, pew, and boo-boo kit. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I just have the plug the hole kit in the car. And it's like, well, he doesn't need a tourniquet unless I'm putting around his neck to stop the bleeding. So, and Wayne's saying, remember, kids, quick clock doesn't work with people on blood thinners. Oops. Got to use C-Lock. Oh, that's what it was. The actual thing on the thing was that C-Lock stuff. So that was the actual name on the package he was looking at before I told him to put it away. It's pretty funny, though, when he realized that, oh, wait, maybe somebody else said, oh, golly, I'm not special. Okay, so somebody had mentioned this earlier about Japan or Nippon, right? So anybody know what mysteriously is happening in the land of the rising sun? There's some strange thing. No idea who this is, but they got it all written out. So let's see. In just the first 5 months of 2026, 9 major shrines and temples have burned across Japan. So real quick, where else have we seen churches or shrines being burned down? That's right, in Europe. Europe seems to be having a fire issue too. Huh. So let's see. January, shrine burned down. February, another one burned down. That was the 7th. The 13th, another one burned down and 1 person died. And then on the 20th, another one burned down. 5 people died. And then April 24th, 1 burned down. April 27th, 1 burned down. May 6th, another one burned down. May 16th, another one burned down. May 20th, another one burned down. And that was a World Heritage Site. Wow, it says these are not ordinary fires. Many of these sacred places had stood for hundreds, some over 1,000 years. Huh. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. When did the temples and shrines start burning one after another? That seems odd that in Europe and Japan, their religious places, regardless of what they call them, their religious places are burning down. Let's see if we could think about that for a minute. Is there anything that could connect those two things together? I'm not sure. There might be something. There might be something in Japan. They were in the news a while back. I don't remember why. I thought we covered a story in Japan a while back. What was that? They were protesting something. Something about building mosques in Japan and wanting to take land to make Muslim cemeteries. That can't be related. There's no way that the churches in Japan and the churches in England are burning down. Wait, England has England has people that want to make things Muslim, and Japan has things that want to make things Muslim. I'm sure it's a coinky dink, and those two things don't go together, because that would make me Islamophobic if I put those things together and realized that buildings that were there for thousands of years and made it through all kinds of wars, they just decided to burn. You know, just like churches all through Europe just happen to be burning. But, you know, that would make me Islamophobic, and I'm scared of being called names. Yeah. Yeah, the one temple was 1,200 years old. Yeah, Redneck, I seen that. I figured most people wouldn't care if I started getting into each and every one of those. So, duct tape. Okay, there you go, Sasquatch. Oh, no, you're talking about the wounds. Okay, I was thinking, they got duct tape in common. You're right. That makes us not Islamophobic if we just say duct tape. All right, Palmetto. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm kind of good at noticing patterns, and it seems to be only two things that they have in common, Europe and Japan, other than formerly having warrior cultures. Yeah, they both used to have that in common too. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Moving along, and I'm sure this has absolutely nothing to do with anything that we've discussed before. Here's this person. Let's see. A Palestinian Islamic scholar in Chicago, El Douchebaggy, said this openly. Oh, wait. Let's just have him say it instead of me reading it. It's always better when they say it.
Unfortunately, these days we don't repeat this enough, or we don't have this aqidah concept firm in our minds that Islam did not come to coexist. Islam لا يعلى. Islam يعلو ولا يعلى عليه. Islam is raised high and nothing is raised above Islam. We can't think of Islam that it came to live with these other religions, in the sense that Islam is a religion amongst those religions, and they have a share with the truth, and they have a share of justice, and they have a share of, this worship of Allah, the correct worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam came to correct all of that. Islam came to remove the oppression of all those religions, and it is the only truth, and it is the only way to justice.
Okay, hold on, let me go back. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on.
And Islam,
oh, there we go. Hold on. Let me see if I can stop it.
Islam is the.
Okay, and this is what he said in Arabic or whatever he's talking that wasn't in English. Says Islam is always superior and should never be surpassed. So that's the part where he was talking whatever and people couldn't understand him. Well, he did that on purpose because he doesn't want to say that out loud. He's already saying enough out loud, yeah? So, and where was this at? Chicago! Yeah, But I'm sure that has absolutely nothing to do with anything else that we've discussed this evening at all. Anyway, that just makes you Islamophobic. Don't do it. Baptist. Yep, there you go. That's what it is. Oh, Wayne will be right back. He needs to find his 72 virgins. Yeah. So, all right. And then I'm sure the next thing that I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with anything else. And I mean, listen to them when they're telling you, yeah, what they're saying. They're telling you. They're just telling you. So this comes from this person. Don't know nothing about them. Hey, but Yankee Watchdogs also clicked on them. Let's see. Muslim Brotherhood states they'll impose Sharia law in America through the ballot box or bullet. So wait, hold on. Oh, that made my brain hurt. So the enemy is saying they are going to use the ballot box. Don't they know that voting is for fools? And we'll never get them anywhere and we'll never change anything? Why would the enemy want to use the ballot box if it's a useless thing to use? Huh. That's weird. We should tell them that voting doesn't matter. Then they'll stop doing it.
Now it's getting through Congress. So before it was by the sword. Now it's getting themselves into Parliament and then making laws that act as the sword, the Islamophobia law in Canada, M103.
Yeah. Muslim Brotherhood.
I find that there are only two things.
Okay, so it's not that just that dude, yeah? And this is why I grabbed this one. Everybody wants to say, oh, it's just this one dude, or oh, it's just those two guys saying it. No.
Which are open to our movement. Ballot or bullet, nothing in between.
I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad. That's
Participation is their holy war. Well, let me get a bag of Cheetos and sit on the couch.
our jihad. We're going to fight not through the bullets, but the ballots.
They're going to use the ballots that would be voting ballots. If the opposition's using a tactic that seems to be working, maybe we should use the tactic that seems to be working. No way. It's the Jews.
The ballot and voting is now an obligatory action, fard ayn, and it is a jihad that is now needs to be done because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
800 Muslim candidates. Hey, I wonder if there's some way, like if I could Google it. I want to Google it, man. Or get one of those AI things to tell me how many black pill dudes have run for office. Yeah. Hey, Redneck, it's not me. The ones that they've sent to me, I've approved or whatever. Discussed already how this plays out. Yes, sir, there, Sasquatch. Ballot box work for Adolf. No. Let's see. Yankee saying, you lost me on that one. Redneck says there's a video of an imam telling a grocery store owner to quit selling. Yeah, we actually covered that one a while back there, Redneck, where a group of African Americans who follow Islam walked in with all their little berets on and their little goofy Muslim hats and said, stop selling stuff or we'll be back. Yeah. And Sasquatch saying his ex-wife was in one of those English. I don't even know what that word is there, Sasquatch. Too many syllables for me. I got a California education. And let me go over here. Alrighty. Hold on. They still got a little bit more. Hold on. A little bit more.
We may end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling.
So you heard him say 6 years, right? That's long-term planning, not, hey, if I go to 7-Eleven, I can get Bud Light and Cheetos and be happy tonight.
The system of injustice is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
Yeah. They're telling you what they're going to do and why they're doing it and how they're going to do it. Yeah. They're literally telling you. In the next 6 years, we'll have 50 of our people in office. But other people, voting's for losers, bro. Yeah, don't do that. I'm so lost, Sasquatch. All right, so hopefully I've pissed off enough people. And I got one more. And then we'll see what we do after that. Hold on. So here's old Sarah Adams. If you don't know who she is, you probably should. Yeah. She got in a little pissing contest with Sean Ryan. Which, just remember Sean Ryan worked for the cartels. Let's see. Afghan commando unit of the Taliban recently held heliborne drills with former U.S. NATO equipment. Now, I was told that none of this equipment would be working by now because they wouldn't know how to do the maintenance. So that billions of dollars of equipment that was left behind would be useless to them at this point. Let us see. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So let me see. The opposition's wearing body armor and practicing close combat. Huh. Remember, body armor is not cool. CQBs for dummies. Okay. But anyway, they got all that high-speed gear. I was told none of that would be working by now, but I guess I misunderstood when they said that. Yeah. Let me see. We catch up. Wayne's saying, at some point, it will be us or them. Peaceful options are off the table. Yes, sir. It seems to be going that way. Redneck saying to Wayne, that's coming sooner than later. Yeah, but hopefully we can not make it come. And then, hey guys, when I get on the whole voting and the soapbox and everything else, before we go out here and start laying waste to these folks with the nose rings and the blue hair, we have to exhaust every other option. Otherwise, we're just as morally repugnant as the Taliban dudes. Yeah? I don't know. Everybody says they got morals, this, that, and the other. Even just talk about the use of force continuum. We have to try everything else. If we don't, then we're no better than just some drug addict running up out of some hole somewhere and shooting your family in the face to steal your shit to go buy crack. And I know people don't want to hear that. You know, I'm not that. Well, yeah, you are. If you're just fantasizing about doing this stuff and not trying to not let it happen. Yeah? And the biggest ones that pray that civil war begins are probably the ones that couldn't get out of a bar fight if they had to. Yeah? So. And Sasquatch said you can hardly see right now. Alrighty, it's all good. It's a moral obligation. That's exactly how I feel about it too. And I know that pisses on people's parades and they don't want to hear it. And I have those days too, trust me. I have those days when I'm like, can we just get it on? Can we just do this? Right? I'm tired of it. But at the end of the day, if you're not trying everything before then, either you're living in a fantasy, you've never been there, or you're just a scumbag, right? Steve, what would they do to us? Exactly what they are doing because they're winning. So they don't have to get to the fight part. They're winning. And why are they winning? Because they're using the voting box. You know, take it back to earlier. Why does LA want illegals to vote? Because they know they're going to vote a certain way for them. Or it gives them a bigger crop of people to cheat with. Yeah? So that right now, the opposition's winning at the ballot box. They're winning at the soapbox. They're winning at the burning the churches down. You know what I mean? They're winning because other people are saying, you know what, someday I'm going to do something. And I've said it 100 times. If a dude can't figure out how to vote, he ain't standing in the trench next to you. He's going to have some reason. Hey, you know, I gotta go back to the rear to check on this thing over here and do this thing there. Yeah, okay. I'll be back, guys. Yeah? Oh, and I know that makes people mad, and I really don't fucking care anymore. So, and only catch you guys are saying, Redneck saying, I'm for trying everything else, but making sure I'm ready in the last option. Amen, Redneck. 100% there with you. 100%. And get the last option covered, and let's try everything else. Yeah? Once you got yourself, like, you know, some basic gear and get yourself some basic training, right? Maybe get with a couple fellas, all that good stuff. But let's try this other stuff, man. Before we got to just start laying waste to people, before we got to go Vlad the Impaler, right? And just get all, you know, everybody wants to talk about history. All right. So before we get just straight out ancient history warfare on people, we need to make sure we're justified. Yeah. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of scumbags. That's it. And that may work for some people, but doesn't work for me, man. So let's try all this other stuff until it just doesn't try anymore, you know? So, and Dangerous says they're like the guy that is always in the shitter when there's work to be done. Amen. Exactly. And wait, Wayne saying, oh, that was Redneck. Sorry. Wayne saying, I'm running for local office and my retarded ass can do it. Anyone can. Yes, sir. Exactly. 100%. But too much talking, not enough doing from people, yeah? And Yankee saying he ran for commissioner and missed it by 25 votes. You didn't miss nothing, dude. You got off the couch, yeah, and tried. Now, how many dudes, especially that run in the same circle, yeah, haven't even done that? They haven't done a damn thing ever in their life. But they're going to tell you what they're going to do at some magical, mythical future point, yeah? It's like, man, shut up, dude. If you can't make it to the voting box, if you can't do jury duty, if you can't get on the soapbox and say stuff ain't right, you're gonna be the guy in the shitter. Oh, I was in the shitter when that happened. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's see. That's all I had. Anybody got anything that we absolutely have to discuss? Just because I didn't bring it up, that Chud the Builder guy. I'm waiting to see what happens with that. Do I agree with them? No. Do I not agree with them? Do I agree with them? Yes. Do I not agree with them? Yes. But again, that's an example of let it ride out and see what happens. Yeah? So, and Redneck says, I don't know about politics, but I vote. Yeah, I mean, vote. It just, I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, I don't want to rant on that forever and a day. If a dude can't figure out how to vote, he's not going to figure out how to be there when you need him. Yeah? That's how it works. So, all right. That's all I had. Hey, guys, let the word out to folks that are decent. Yeah? So I'm not trying to attract the douchebags that were running about before, but do me a favor on the way out, do the little thumbs up, all that other good stuff, so YouTube will stop oppressing me. And we'll see how many things I have to cut out of this one. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. So as always, stay safe, be the change you want to see, don't sit on the couch. And the ones that are sitting on the couch, and look at them and go, shut the fuck up or do something, right? We're beyond all the games, man. It's getting too close. It's getting too real, and their games won't matter. Yeah? All right, guys. Have a good week, and stay safe.